Back on this Texas soccer edition of Longhorn Weekly. A couple more of these Longhorn seniors, Whitney, Jaynes, and Julie Arnold joining us. I'm going to do the same thing with you two as I did with Sherris and Brooke, and that's to ask you to tell everybody a little bit about the other. So, Whitney, tell everybody a little bit about Julie. What's her makeup?
Okay, well, she's a really smart player. Like, if I could say anything about her, I think she's one of the smartest players when it comes from just like tactical wise and everything. And I trust her in the back. She's really vocal and makes sure everything's organized. And then as a person, she's pretty much like the mom of the team, kind of.
Wow.
It's an accurate statement.
Yeah, like if someone's down or like needs more like comfort, then Julie's the one to go to. So she's like the little sweet one on the team.
So Julie, you'd like help, put a Band-Aid on a skinned knee or wipe a runny nose.
She'll like come give you a little pat on the back.
Say it's okay, calm down.
Yeah, that's Julie.
Me and Whitney are a good balance of each other. She's
really?
Like real direct, and she's the person, and I'm like, you need to tell this person this. She's the one that can handle that, and she does a great job of it. Very direct, to the point, and she's very good at that. And on the field, Whitney is a tough outside back, loves to get forward. I'm sure forwards hate going against her. So she's very strong in the back. I love playing with her.
You talk about it sounds like there's a great deal of determination that each of you have. Would you say that's the case with Whitney, that she's one of the more determined personalities you've come across?
Oh, absolutely. Whitney wants to get it done.
And you would say the same thing about Julie?
For sure.
What is it that you've seen from this team in the preseason workouts? Because you've got the exhibition match coming up, and then of course you're going to have the regular season openers just around the corner. This particular group, how is it similar? How is it different from, say, since both of you are seniors, teams of the past few years?
This is a very experienced group. I know we've kind of talked about that already, but we're returning almost all of our starters. Me, Whitney, and Brooke have played in the back together for 3 years now, and we've played with Sherris long before that. So we know how each other plays, and we've gotten used to that. And I mean, freshman year, it was me, Whitney, and Brooke in the back, so fighting with like a senior. So it's been a great run with these girls. We're very familiar with how each other plays, and this preseason, it's just been really good because it's our last one, and so there's definitely a sense of determination and that we want to win this year. So we only have one season left to do that.
Is there a bit of a comfort level that's both comforting, but also something that everybody can lean on one another with so many veterans on this team, so many returning players, and of course we've talked about you four seniors as well, how that chemistry is good for this team?
For sure. Like, it's starting with the back. Like, we have Abby, who we're really secure with, and she's a huge leader on this team. And then the back four, like, we have probably the best chemistry, I think, ever.
Absolutely.
And we rely on each other, and we're really comfortable, and that's really where it starts because we're also leaders too. And then the midfield, super strong midfield, and just like all over the field, like, we have people that we can all rely on, and we all have a mentality that we just all want to win, and we have one goal, and we're just really comfortable doing that together.
One of the things I think is notable about teams that have a lot of veteran players back is that not only have they been around each other and they're comfortable and they're friends, but if there's something that's serious that needs to be said, if you have to get tough with one another, you can do that too because there's a trust factor. Is that the case?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I know she has my back, and I know that if I need to be set straight, she can do that, and I can do the same for her. There's a level of accountability within all of us.
What does it mean to wear the Texas jersey?
There's a lot of pride with that. It's an honor to be able to wear Texas every Friday and Sunday, and even just during practice. I mean, Texas is the flagship school of the state and even the country. It's such an honor to be able to play for Texas and say I'm a student athlete at the University of Texas.
I would say it's just an overall blessing, and I know this being our last year, just like going out on the field and having Texas across our chest is just going to be so much fun, and just knowing that, I mean, I want to win every single game, so
absolutely.
I know we're really excited about it. You
know, one thing that I've always asked student athletes is about some of the challenges of balancing those two words, the student and the athlete part, and that there's always that thing about time management and getting on. But supposedly by the time you're a senior, you got all that stuff down pat. Is that true? Is it pretty easy by the time you got to the senior year? You figured it all that part out? Yeah, well, I mean, that is the time management thing still always, because you've got to put in their time on the field, with the team, in the classroom. How difficult is that?
It gets difficult when you're traveling, but I think as you get older, your time management definitely gets better, and it just kind of becomes a part of you, and you have your schedule down. So
you're able to figure it out by the time you're a senior. You know how to work with your professors, and they give us all the resources in the world, so there's no reason for us not to succeed in the classroom.
All right, we'll continue with Whitney, Jaynes, and Julie Arnold. Got a little more Longhorn soccer to talk with them. We'll continue to do that here on the Longhorn Network and the Longhorn IMG Radio Network. Back here on Longhorn Weekly, and we're visiting and talking Texas soccer with Julie Arnold and also Whitney Jaynes. Before I jump back to soccer, we were talking about the academic side of things, and Julie, I think it's worth mentioning you've already actually earned your bachelor's degree in sport management, 3.5 GPA, by the way, and now you're starting work on a master's in kinesiology as well.
I am.
What
Very
about,
excited about that.
I started to say, what is the transition been like for you? You get your degree. You've got your bachelor's, and then you decide, oh no, I want to continue my education, go on for a master's.
Well, my life's not really changing. Still playing soccer, so I still have a 4th year of eligibility, still with the same group of girls I came in with, so it hasn't been that much of an adjustment yet. You can ask me that when I start class in August. It might be a bit of a transition then, but I'm just really excited. So I knew I could graduate early. It was 2 years ago, and that was definitely a goal that I wanted, to try and get my master's in 5 years. So I'm very excited about that, and hopefully I'll finish it quicker.
Whitney, let me ask you to start off, and I'll get both of your thoughts on this. This was something also that I was talking with Sherris and Brooke about, and that is this whole senior leadership mentality. And both, in addition to Brooke and Sherris, you've been leaders, and then in addition to Brooke, both of you have served as that leadership on the back line, well, as defenders. What advantages do you have in bringing the experience of the three of you on the back line together?
Probably just, well, one, the chemistry, and then we did get voted, but we're not the only ones that are leaders, so I think there's the trust factor that we were talking about earlier, that like we all trust one another, so what we have to say, like, people respect, and vice versa. Yeah,
you think that because the three of you have been in the back and starting from the beginning, and Brooke all 61 games, you know, all of those kinds of things, that helps not only with the chemistry, but it makes you more effective, because sometimes one of you knows what the other's thinking when you're on the field.
Definitely. And in like practice, like we try and show up every single practice and kind of like show what we expect in the game, so kind of like we lead by example, I guess you can say.
Do you feel a responsibility with that leading by example with the freshmen? I know you guys remember what it was like when you came in as freshmen. And you got a chance to meet these freshmen. They come in and the eyes are wide open. What do you have to say to them, to try to help them acclimate?
I mean, we just want them to relax. You know, relax and just enjoy competing. We try and set the standard, set it high, and we just want them to relax, be able to come in and play, enjoy practice, and not be so nervous. And their eyes are like wide open on day one, and we just want them to come in and play.
Whitney, you've had to bounce back from injuries. I mean, you've had, you know.
I have.
Tell everybody about your litany of injuries.
I guess for my college career, it started with, I partially tore my quad my sophomore year in the middle of preseason.
Oof.
And it took forever to come back. I came back mid-season, and then I was good, and then I got really fit in the spring thinking that would help, and I got through all of my preseason for my junior year, and I think it was a couple games after I re-injured the same spot in my quad, and I was out, and I ended up coming back for, I believe, the TCU game in Big 12s, and played fine, everything was fine, and then that Sunday following that game, I injured my MCL. And so then I ended up coming back at the very end of the Big 12s, and yeah, so I haven't had much of a playing career, like playing-wise, but I've been around.
Was it difficult for you going through that, re-injuring the quad? Did it ever go through your mind, maybe this isn't meant to be? Maybe I'm cut out to be a student, but not necessarily a soccer player anymore?
Absolutely not, because like I love it, It was probably one of the hardest things I've had to go through. Like, I've torn my ACL before, and I feel like this was way more hard than anything I've gone through, just because the timing was probably the worst timing ever. And, like, seeing my teammates, like, battle on the field without me, like, all I wanted to do was help. So it was more mentally hard for me to deal with than physically, but I think I grew so much from it.
Julie, what is the realistic expectation for this team this year?
We definitely have a high set of expectations for us. I mean, we want to win the Big 12. That's been our goal coming in from day one, and we have not been able to achieve that yet. So we have one season left, and we're ready to go after that. And after that, I mean, we want to win the Big 12 and then make a really good run into the NCAA tournament.
And is that pretty much the goal all the way through? Everybody feels the same way? Win the Big 12, get into the NCAA tournament, and see how much damage you can do?
For sure. That's my goal.
And to stay healthy, right?
Oh, yes. I'm going to stay healthy.
Okay. Whitney, Julie, thank you for the time. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Whitney, Jaynes, Julie, Arnold, Ange Kelly will rejoin us, and we'll be ready to wrap up this week's edition of Longhorn Weekly right after this.